Good morning everyone, I hope you're well. I've just collected my cable tongue, 3.6 meter long, and it's made by Super Rod. I've been thinking of buying this for a while, but I've been improvising. But this morning I've got a job. I'm going to be installing some smoke alarms, some hardwired interlinked through RF. So I'm going to have to fish some cable from the lighting positions because it's not practical to run a new circuit for smoke alarms in this property. So I've just collected this from Screwfix, and I'm hoping that this will make the job slightly easier. But we'll go to site shortly, give it a go, and I will update you. That's how it's supposed to work. Make a hole, put this thing through, and it should come out at the other end. Put the cable, attach the cable to it using a tape, and then pull the cable through. So it should be as easy as that, but let's see how it works. So what I paid for it in Screwfix this morning is $19.99, as you can see. From CEF it was $14.99, but it went out of stock the other day when I went over. So this morning I just picked it up and paid that price. So I'm hoping this should do the job. Let's give it a go. Let's see. Okay, so made it to the site. First thing first, there is carpet on the floor, so my trusted mud guards. Let's go inside. Okay, so mud guards on. Let's walk into the property. It's all carpeted. Customers recently purchased this property and there aren't any mains powered smoke alarms in the house. There is one battery operated smoke detector in here, and is there one in the kitchen? No, so there's none in the kitchen. Nothing in the entry hallway. No, there's nothing there. And then we'll have a quick look upstairs. Yep, I can spot one up there, and that's another battery operated one as well. Yep, so it's a battery operated detector. So we need mains wired, battery backup, interlinked smoke detectors here. What we have in here, because I've carried out an EICR in this property a few days back, in the lighting positions we do have main power going. So main live and neutral is at the lighting position, and then switch wires dropping down to the switch points, which enables us to put smoke detectors on the lighting circuit. You can get smoke detectors with RF interlinking capacity or capability, I should say. So we will be using that. So it will be mains wired, hardwired. It will be battery backup, and it will be interlinked using RF. So that's what we're going to do. So we need to install a detector here on this level, a detector downstairs, most likely in the living room. I'll have a quick look, or in the entry point, and then a heat detector in the kitchen downstairs, and a detector up in the loft as well, because there is a boiler up in the loft, if I remember correctly. Yep, so the boiler's there, so we'll be putting a detector in there as well for them. Okay, so let's make a start with that. I'll get some tools in and we'll make a start. Okay guys, so I'm back to the van to collect my tools. Now I do have some tool bags, don't get me wrong, but every job's different. So that's another reason why I asked you guys to grab yourself these flexi buckets, because they're versatile. You can use them for almost everything. So I'm just going to be chucking majority of my tools in here, and I'll carry them all inside. Indeed. And I'm using these high-spec hardwired RF smoke detectors. So there's 3 smoke and 1 heat detector to go in the kitchen. So all of that stuff just goes in there, making sure this stays upright so it's not going to damage my bucket. Let's see how easy it makes it look. Put everything in there, take it all inside, and that saves you a lot of hassle of having to come back to your van again and again. Let's go inside. And as you can see, that's the main door leading you into the property. You walk into this small hallway entry space here, which also houses the consumer unit and the cutout. And then there is a door leading you into the living room. So that is classed as a circulation area. But also normally in LD2 setup, having a smoke detector in the living room is a recommendation. But as you can see, when you walk down from first floor down to the ground floor, living room does technically become a circulation area for you. So as you're coming down, all of this living room needs to be protected, and then obviously the entry point as well. And there is a door dividing this. So technically we need a smoke detector, one in the loft, one upstairs in the landing on first floor, one in the living room, and then one where we exit in here as well. So we need to protect the whole route as you're coming down, basically all the circulation area, as well as a heat detector in the kitchen. So there will be 4 smoke detectors, not 3, and 1 heat detector. I'm sure you guys must have seen the use of this dade before, but it's just a rubber dust collector, as you can see, and we're going to be using it just to drill a hole just up there. So that's the light fitting that we need to tap into. Joists are running this way, floorboards are running this way, and we have a joist right next to us in this direction. So I've marked about 400 away because we need to be literally 300 away from this light, and we want to remain kind of centralish. So I don't want to drill it directly on top of the joist. So somewhere here should be fine. So let's see. That's it. So as you can see, we've kind of halfway on the joist, and half of the hole is going to give us enough access to run a cable, and then we can mount our detector in line with this light. And this date, and again, flexi bucket, just chuck everything in there. That's how it works. Okay guys, so it's all done now. We have one in the living room, one detector in the entry point, one detector in the kitchen, so that's a heat detector. As you can see, there is one upstairs on the landing, there you can see just there, and then there's one in the loft. So all of these are radio interlinked. You may be able to see the light on the one in the loft as well. So all of these are radio interlinked. What you have to do with these is on the base there are 4 dip switches, and as it comes out to the box, all 4 are set to off position. So at least one out of those 4 switches you have to put on. You can choose any sequence you want, but you can leave all 3 in off position and just basically lift one up on all 4 or 5 bases, depending on how many detectors you've installed. And whilst the power is not coming to the base, so basically the circuit is isolated, you put all the detectors on with their batteries, and you press and hold the test button, which is the middle button on these. When you do that, it actually interlinks all of them. So you will hear all the alarms sounding. I think it's within 20 seconds, this is in manufacturer's instructions, if I remember correctly, that all alarms must sound, which these did. So they're all interlinked, and then you basically just energize the circuit, you put the power onto it, and it's all good, all working perfectly fine. Now, if you have any questions regarding this, don't forget to drop me a line in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. But in this case, we've gone for LD2 system. So because we have a near enough high risk area up in the loft with the boiler being in there, there's one detector, smoke detector there, and then all the escape routes or circulation areas as they call it. So we have a hallway here, so we have a detector here. As we go down, it's not a separated hallway in this dwelling. So normally you may have a separate hallway, so then you don't necessarily need one in the living room. It's just a recommendation with this protection, with this category of protection. But because this living area is part of circulation area, as you come down and then you go out of here, then the whole area needs to be protected. Hence we have a detector there and also a detector here. But that's all for today. And in fact, the very first thing I showed in the video was that cable tongue from Super Rod that I did not end up using. So that's the reason I've not showed you it. These are very kind of close runs, as you can imagine. That needs to be 300 mil away, that's 400 mil away. And all the detectors from corners and from the lighting position, they need to be 300 mil away. And basically it fulfills the requirement. So I just ended up fishing the wire through. I don't like trunking, so I just put a piece of cable in. So that's the reason you have not seen the cable tongue Super Rod in action. Same here. So what I will do is, when I utilize that possibly in my next job or so, I'll make a video and I'll show you how it works. But it's just a very simple concept. Drill a hole here. You may already have a hole there, and it's just a matter of putting a cable through using that cable tongue. But if you have any questions, guys, as always, feel free to drop me a line. Thank you very much for your time. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And thanks to my Bosch Hoover, everything is all nice and clean, and I've still got my mud guards on. All right, guys, you take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.